Well, good evening and good to be back again on Geelong Newsbeat. I just heard a story a day or two ago which I must admit pushed a few, as they say, pushed a few buttons for me. And it was a story of, it happened on the weekend, of some hoons. I think it was out in the, I'm not sure if it was Cranbourne or Craigieburn, one of those places. But people rang up, there were people hooning around, and they called the police. And anyhow, these three young fellows had their cars impounded for 2 days. I mean, when are we going to get real about this sort of situation? I suppose in my time, sadly, I've had to deal with a lot of people who've suffered through road injury and road deaths, of having loved ones. Either sometimes they've been the driver in the wrong, other times they've been people completely innocent and caught up in some hoon type situation. The whole question of impounding motor cars and saying that this is going to make any difference, for goodness sake, it can take you 2 days to get a windscreen replaced if it's broken, for example, to have the car off the road. We've all been in that situation. Having a car off the road for a couple of days means absolutely nothing. And I wonder, as we move into the holiday time, and there'll be all the usual warnings from the police about driving safely and no alcohol and careful about speeding and so on. But in some of these areas, the legislation either that we have or the way we enact it is just quite totally inadequate. Certainly we've done a fantastic job in curbing the road toll over the past 25 or so years. Some of that has to do with better roads. Some of it is to do with better structure of cars and airbags and that sort of thing. And some of it is probably a better driver education. But there's still too much left to chance in terms of the way in which people drive and assume that they can do all sorts of crazy things. Certainly I drive between Geelong and Melbourne quite often, and I can be sitting on 100 and have people whiz past me at what must be 120, 130 kilometres an hour, and just a disregard for everybody else that's there. The whole question of hoons, I suppose, of well, traditionally young males was generally what we think of as hoons, and the whole idea of impounding cars has something to commend it. But 48 hours, I ask you, does 48 hours mean anything at all? And the reality is, if you're going to have a penalty, at least make it one that hurts, at least make it one that sends a message. Somehow or other in all of this we need to recognise that, as we're often told, when people look at the camera fines and so on, and we're always told, oh, it's not revenue raising, it's all about safety. Well, certainly the proper education of young people and old people too. There are a few leadfoots amongst those of us who are a few years further down the track, but we need to get the message. And the whole question of impounding of cars has something to say for it, but it needs to be a lot stronger message. We're moving into a very dangerous time of year in terms of Christmas holidays. Let's try and make it a real safe one. And I hope that you're safe over Christmas. I hope that I'm safe over Christmas. We need to do it not only by the laws that we have, but by making sure that they're enacted with a degree of common sense and making sure that the law gets a real message across. Let's hope that that can happen. Good to be with you on Geelong Newsbeat.